This time 5 years ago, I was feeling pretty nervous because I had received this tip off when I was on holiday in New Zealand on Boxing Day in 2019, where I was told by a very, very good source.
The year 2020. A seismic shift rocked the very foundations of the British monarchy. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, announced their intention to step back from their roles as senior royals. This unprecedented move, quickly dubbed Megxit by the press, sent shockwaves across the globe. It triggered a media frenzy, dividing public opinion and leaving many questions unanswered. Why would a young couple, seemingly living a fairy tale romance, choose to relinquish their royal privileges? The official statement cited their desire for personal growth and financial independence. It hinted at the relentless pressure of life in the public eye. Yet, whispers of discord and discontent within the royal family began to surface. Rumors swirled, suggesting a deeper, more tumultuous story lurking beneath the surface. Was this a hasty decision fueled by a thirst for freedom and autonomy? Or was it a calculated move orchestrated by a woman accused of harboring her own ambitions? The world watched, captivated by the unfolding drama, eager for answers. One voice cut through the noise, offering a controversial and explosive perspective: Lady Colin Campbell. In her book, Meghan and Harry: The Real Story, she unveils a narrative that paints Meghan Markle not as a victim of circumstance, but as a cunning architect of her own destiny.
That Harry and Meghan had made this decision and had communicated with Prince Charles, he was Prince Charles at the time, that they wanted to leave the royal family but have this half-in, half-out relationship. And I did what a journalist does, which is find out exactly what's true, corroborate the story with numerous sources. But my editor, because I was executive editor at The Sun, but my editor, a guy called Tony Gallagher, who's now the editor of the Times of London, said to me, Dan, amazing, but I'm not going to run this story unless you get it confirmed. So I had to go to Harry and Meghan's people. And that set off a chain of events which resulted in them actually going to the Queen and saying, we want to announce this ourselves because we want to scupper the Sun from running the story. So it was very, very nervous time because obviously this was a very big story, but we did run our front page, we're off, and a lot of the details in that story, Lady C, stand. I revealed that Harry and Meghan were prepared to give up their royal titles, that they were going to go to Canada, although, of course, that was obviously just really a stopgap measure because in March 2020, I then revealed that Hollywood, here we come. And then after I ran the story, they posted their botched announcement on Instagram, which tried to really bribe the Queen and King Charles into giving them exactly what they wanted, a terrible way to negotiate with someone who's such a respected figure. But the next day, we ran the headline, which I think has become most famous around the world, Megxit, inventing this term, which would go on to be included as one of the new words of the year in the Collins Dictionary for 2020. But it's really interesting, Lady C, isn't it, looking back, because Harry and Meghan really did think that they were going to really blackball the Queen into doing something that she had no intention of doing.
Lady Colin Campbell, a socialite known for her candid insights into the royal family, presents a scathing indictment of Meghan Markle. She alleges that Meghan, far from being a reluctant participant in royal life, was the driving force behind Megxit. Campbell claims that Meghan entered the royal family with a predetermined agenda, one that prioritized personal ambition over royal duty. According to Campbell, Meghan's ultimate goal was to leverage her royal status for personal gain. She suggests that Meghan saw the monarchy as a platform to further her own brand and Hollywood aspirations. Campbell further alleges that Meghan resorted to blackmail to get her way, threatening to reveal damaging information about the royal family if her demands were not met. These claims, though explosive, lack concrete evidence. They are based largely on anecdotal accounts from unnamed sources within royal circles.
Oh, yes. It was their objective, well, it was Meghan's objective, and Harry went along with it, that she would lay down the law to the Queen, and the Queen would have absolutely no choice but to go along with it. And remember, Dan, this had been in the planning for some considerable length of time, because they had, and really they is Meghan, because Harry doesn't have the brain power or the discipline, had created the Royal Sussex website and had trademarked absolutely everything, including Tampax with the royal cipher on it, sort of thing. I mean, they had trademarked hundreds of items that they would be flogging via this royal website. And so this had been in the planning for some considerable length of time. And the Lord Lion, King of Arms, on behalf of the Queen, thwarted it by saying you can't be half in and half out. Well, that was directly from the Queen. And Harry would like the world to believe that when the Lord Lion, or Sir Edward, as he then was, who was her private secretary, said something that they were hijacking the Queen, and the Queen really wanted to encourage Harry and Meghan to do everything that they wanted to do, which of course was utter rubbish. But Meghan really thought that if she laid down the law to the Queen and strong-jawed her, that the Queen was going to relent. And she's very manipulative, and it really was defiant, and it was laying down the gauntlet. It was a form of blackmail that she hoped the Queen would allow. And of course, the Queen didn't allow it.
Critics have accused Campbell of peddling gossip and sensationalism. They argue that her book is nothing more than a malicious attempt to discredit Meghan Markle. Despite the controversy, Campbell's narrative has resonated with a segment of the public. It feeds into a pre-existing narrative that views Meghan as a manipulative and social climbing outsider. In stark contrast to the drama and controversy surrounding the Sussexes, Prince William and Kate Middleton, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, have maintained an image of unwavering stability. They are widely perceived as the epitome of royal decorum, flawlessly navigating the complexities of public life with grace and composure. William and Kate's commitment to tradition and their unwavering dedication to royal duties stand in stark opposition to the perceived rebelliousness of Harry and Meghan.
No, because this announcement on their own Sussex royal page, Lady C, was completely intellectually dishonest. Because look at the top line, Lady C. After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have chosen to make a transition this year and starting to carve out a progressive new role within the institution. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to support Her Majesty the Queen. Now, the first words of that statement are a lie. Harry and Meghan may have been reflecting, but Lady C, there had not been many months of internal discussions. That's intellectually dishonest. The internal discussions were over Harry and Meghan remaining full-time members of the royal family, but perhaps relocating for a significant chunk of the year to South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. Canada may have been mentioned, but it was as a formal member of the royal family. I mean, there were even talks of could Harry become the Governor General of Australia, for example. They were the internal discussions. Now, what Harry and Meghan did, and this is so despicable, is they launched their own money-making operation even when they were members of the royal family. Meghan had all of her staff who had pretty much stayed working for her behind the scenes, negotiating book deals, starting talks with Netflix while they were a member of the royal family. So to suggest that somehow the late Queen and King Charles had been involved in these discussions was wrong. The discussions had been about something altogether different, and Harry and Meghan really did sabotage and ambush the monarch.
Their approach to royal life, rooted in a deep respect for tradition and a quiet determination to serve the crown, has earned them the admiration of the British public. Their every move is carefully considered, their public appearances meticulously orchestrated to project an image of unity and stability. They are seen as the future of the monarchy, a reassuring presence in an era of rapid change and uncertainty. The contrasting public personas of these two royal couples highlight the generational divide within the monarchy.
Well, my view on it has always been that the talks involving them spending a lot of time in a Commonwealth country was always a red herring and a distraction. It was effectively a con. They were conning the palace into believe in. They were soft soaping the palace as well, and they were conditioning them to the fact that something isn't quite right and we're not really happy, and we would like to do something else for you, when really they meant we are going to lead you to believe we want to do something for you within the institution, when in fact all along the plan was to do it for me, not you, and to do it for themselves outside of the institution. And it was a con. It was deception of the frankest kind. And but Harry understood, and Meghan, for all her claims that she didn't really understand the royal way, she understood it well enough to know that if she played the "we'll be in the Commonwealth" card, and we'll be doing our royal duties there, that would open the door, and then they would pip them at the post with, "Well, actually, we've changed our minds, and really it shows a degree of not only dishonesty but naivety, and it shows to what extent Meghan truly believes that she is cleverer than she is, and she can dupe anybody, because this had to have been her idea, although he obviously had input, because he's the one who understood how the system works in a far more effective way than she would have understood it. So he was giving her the benefit of his knowledge, but she, I'm sure, was the architect of the whole deception. And it was a con, and it was a con that was going to that was at the 99th hour. It's a con artist's trick. At the 99th hour, you pull something else, and all of a sudden you've achieved your objective. But it didn't work. But that doesn't mean they didn't set it up for it to work. I think their behavior suggests dishonesty from the word go. And it suggests to me that she was behind it, not Harry.
It underscores the challenges faced by an institution grappling with evolving societal norms and expectations. Megxit exposed the deep fissures within the House of Windsor. It brought to light the challenges of reconciling tradition with modernity, of balancing personal aspirations with the weight of inherited responsibility. The saga continues to captivate the public imagination, sparking endless debates about race, privilege, and the future of the monarchy.
Absolutely. And the thing that is incredibly shocking, Lady C, is some of the pathetic reasons that they tried to justify Megxit, which, let's be honest, was always about money. That's what it was about. And it was about Meghan not having to work. But actually, in my initial story on this, and remember, this was briefed by people who were very close to Harry and Meghan. They said, it has been made very clear by the institution that the Sussexes are not central to the future plan. Just look at the picture released last week of the Queen with the Prince of Wales, Duke of Cambridge, and George. But the thing is, Lady C, that was nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. That picture, that historic picture, was about showing, and there it is, what a beautiful image, which now hangs, I believe, in the National Portrait Gallery. It was about showing to the world that as the Queen enters her twilight years, which Harry and Meghan should have been aware of, but they didn't seem to give a damn about, that the line of succession is safe. And it was a historic picture showing the Queen with William, Charles, and George. For Harry and Meghan to try and turn that into some sort of personal slight against them is ridiculous.
Yes, because that was a photograph of a monarch and the three monarchs in waiting. Harry, despite Meghan's wish to be the monarch, is never going to be. Although, of course, it has been said that she has said they're one plane crash away from succeeding to the throne.
Which is terrifying.
But it's true as well, isn't it?
Lady Colin Campbell's explosive claims, though highly contested, have added fuel to the fire. Her book, Meghan and Harry, The Real Story, offers a controversial perspective on the events that led to Megxit. It paints a picture of a family divided, grappling with internal conflicts and struggling to adapt to a changing world. The truth behind Megxit may never be fully known. What remains undeniable is the profound impact it has had on the royal family. It has left a legacy of hurt, resentment, and unanswered questions. As the dust settles, one can only hope that time will heal old wounds and pave the way for reconciliation. The future of the monarchy may depend on it.